What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Cole. If you're new here, I'm a freelance cinematographer and colorist. And today I want to talk about something pretty important, which is going to be niching down and specializing and more figuring out what you don't want to do in the film industry in order to find what you love doing and focus on that. Because ultimately, the more you love doing something, the more you're going to do it and want to do it, and you're going to just ultimately get better at doing that. So I'm going to talk about just an update on what I've been doing and how I've been implementing that strategy to get better at my craft and figure out, what to do going forward. So yeah, like I said, pretty much figuring out how to niche down and specialize requires you to figure out what you do not enjoy doing. So over the past couple months, I have made a lot of changes to my life in general and also my career. So I moved to a new city, being Atlanta, Georgia. And over the course of the past 2 or 3 months, I've been kind of meeting people, working on a lot of different jobs, being very busy in a good way, but then also in a bad way on some projects that I did not enjoy and jobs that I did not enjoy. But it was a great learning experience because it helped me understand what I don't like doing and is really helping me niche down so I can ultimately be better in the future. So several months ago, I would say I was very much a generalist. Like, I did everything. I was the cinematographer, I was the editor, I was the colorist, I was doing sound. And over the past maybe 6 months, I've really been working on bigger and bigger projects where we're working as a bigger team, like maybe 20 or 10 to 20 people. And I've been doing specific roles on bigger projects, and that's helped me really learn what I like and don't like. I've always liked creating the images, whether that's filming or in color grading, creating that style. And I've always been a very visual person and have enjoyed that. At the same time, I've also enjoyed editing, because editing, you really get to add some flair to your videos and just really spice up whatever you're working on. The past 2 months, I've worked on several commercials, some corporate jobs, a couple music videos as well, and I want to go over the different roles that I did. So I worked on about 2 to 3 commercials, some pretty big commercials, one being a national commercial, and I was the editor on a lot of these. I don't know why I said it like that. I was the editor on a lot of these, and one thing I learned about editing at that level for an agency and something with much higher stakes is there's a lot more cooks in the kitchen. And what that means is just there are tons of people that are going to look at the thing you edited and they're going to want to put their fingerprint on it. And soon enough, it becomes much worse than what you originally created when you edited it. Because when you have less people working on it, the vision is more focused on what you want to create. But once you get more people on it, it just becomes kind of all over the place, you know? And that's kind of what happened on these several commercials that I edited. And they took so many revisions because there were so many different people looking at these videos and saying, oh, I want this song, or this shot needs to go here, even if that makes it so much worse. And it just as an editor, you shouldn't do that. That's just going to make it worse, but you have to do it because it's the client or whatever. So yeah, that kept happening. And I thought maybe it's just this client, because I've been editing for a while, but this was kind of the first few commercials that I started editing at a really high level. So I was doing this and getting all these revisions, and I was like, okay, maybe it's just this client. So I went on to the next job, and same exact thing happened. I'm like, okay, dang, maybe it's this brand or whatever. Get on a completely different project, same thing happens. I'm like, okay, so this is just what it's like being an editor. This is just what I'm moving towards like becoming a higher level editor. And so then I'm like kind of realizing that at the same time I was DPing a lot of projects, whether that be short films, some music videos, some commercials. I was doing a couple of these, not like a super big job, but maybe smaller teams, doing cinematography. And I really just enjoyed that like the whole time. Like I love just creating the image. I love lighting and just a very visual person, which is why I love color grading so much, which is why I also have been doing that the past 3 or 4 years, being a professional, like freelance colorist. I've been doing commercials. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But yeah, was doing DPing projects, and while they can be hard and you can have long days, it's ultimately just very rewarding getting out there and shooting the project yourself, or not yourself, with a team, but just creating the images. And then the best part of being a DP is after you shoot the project, you are done. You get your paycheck and you leave. And that to me was the greatest part and was kind of the eye-opening thing with doing editing, that was just, it ultimately made me realize that I cannot continue to do editing as a freelance job for me personally, just because it just goes on and on for just too long, and you're just tired of the project, you're ready to move on. They keep having revisions. It's like you can charge them for it, but it's like you're just ready to be done with the project, and it just goes on and on. So yes, after those like several commercials, like editing, I pretty much decided I am done editing, like being a freelance editor. Like I'm still going to edit my own projects, or if I'm directing something and I'm going to edit that. But as far as being I'm an editor, like just that is done. Like I just am not gonna sell that anymore. The more and more projects I did as a DP though, it's just very different. You work on the project, you get paid, that's it. It's been just super smooth. I'm like, I definitely enjoy this much more. It's just much more refreshing too, because you're not working on a project as long. Like you may be in the pre-production for like a couple weeks looking at boards with the director or something, but then after you shoot that project, you are done. So at the same time as doing cinematography, I was also taking color grading gigs here and there throughout all of this, just doing all these different jobs. But color grading was one that I've been doing for past 3 or 4 years. And over the past few months, I've worked on several projects as a colorist, like that be commercials or music videos or corporate videos. And really, it's very similar to DPing, where you do the job. There may be a couple of revisions similar to editing, but it's not like of the scale of editing, where like the revisions for color grading may just be like, can we brighten up that guy's face, or that shot's a little too dark, and then you just turn your knob and you fix it and go about your day, send the new draft. And overall, the revisions are not just completely absurd, where editing some random, Joe Schmo at Doo Dynamics may come and say, oh, I think the shot of this may need to go here, and they may just have some absurd feedback like, can we make it a little more energetic, or something like that, like just super vague that makes no sense, where you're like, what does that mean? Can we make it more energetic, or we need to speed it up a little bit, or something like that. And it just drives you insane. And then you do that, you spend hours like re-editing the video how you think they want it, and then they may be like, oh no, that's not what I meant, and then you have to do some, it just goes on. So color grading, very quick and to the point. Color grading also takes way less time, because once you get really good at it and fast, you know how to get the result very quickly, especially if you know how to do the color management, you have your look in place that you want, you're very clear with the director that this is the look they want. You nail it in like a couple hours, or in the morning or something, and you're done basically. And then, yeah, you send your invoice, you get paid. And often I'm finding as a colorist, you get paid way more than editing for some reason. Like the day rate you can charge is so much higher as a colorist. And I don't know if this is because it's just more of a niche skill and there's less people, but there's a lot of demand for it. So you can charge a lot. I don't really know, but for whatever reason, jobs I'm on, you're able to charge so much higher rates as a colorist. And then it's just way less headache for me. So my plan or strategy to get better at DPing and color grading is pretty much just keep practicing, keep doing it. So what I've done so far to get better at cinematography, we'll say, is first thing I did was I invested, got a new camera, a cinema camera, got some cinema lenses, just upgraded my kit pretty much, and have just been going out just shooting short films, commercials, music videos. Even if it is like a lower budget, it's still worth it to just go do it just to get better. So you're just learning, because just in this like short couple months of just shooting these projects, I've already learned so much as a DP and like things to avoid. And yeah, I've just learned a lot from that short time. As far as color grading, I've just kind of kept doing it, just putting my work out there more, investing a little bit in a monitor. I did actually, I got a nice Apple monitor. I invested in some plugins. I'll probably talk about some of those in another video, but invested in, I think, 2 plugins. And yeah, they immensely help my consistency when I'm color grading, and also just get me better results quicker, which is ultimately the name of the game with color grading, is just speed. So in summary, over the past few months, I've learned that I do not want to be an editor any longer. I want to focus on cinematography and color grading and just specialize in those and just keep getting better and better, charging higher rates, and yeah, just overall be happier. Yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you found any value, like, wow, I can relate to this, or you learned something, leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to keep making some videos like this, and also be on the lookout for some color grading videos. I'm going to be diving more into those because I've just been grading a lot of commercials and projects lately. So be on the lookout, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.